Welcome to JCB Tools. My name's Adrian, and today I'm going to answer some frequently asked questions on the assembly of this machine. Now, this is the JCB-CH150120PE, so we'll go through those FAQs. So all the assembly instructions are in the manual, but there's a few little things that I can help you with to make the whole experience of putting it together a lot easier. We're going to start with the toolbox. So the toolbox fits here on the back of the unit. So one thing of note is we need to fit this very early on in the procedure. When the main axle with the wheels is fitted to the frame, there are also two bolts in the bottom of the toolbox. So I'll give you a close-up of those in a second. But when we fit the axle, we need to put the toolbox in place and pass the bolts that hold the axle on through the toolbox at the same time. Obviously, if you know this at this stage, it saves putting the axle on and then having to take the bolts back out to fit the toolbox at a later stage. So two bolts in the bottom, we'll give you a close-up of those. And then finally, there's two bolts here, very small ones, that hold the toolbox in place. So the toolbox fits here. As you can see, a little adjustable clamp on the back of the machine. So here we are underneath the main inlet chute, and we have the battery tray on the back of the machine. So again, you can see the battery here in its tray, two bolts into the chassis, that's it, it fits there. And obviously the two leads, the red and the black, go to the corresponding terminals on the battery. So as the chute comes separated from the machine when it arrives at you, we fit the main inlet chute, and it does come with this little lead, which is part of the chute. And you'll find just on the bottom of the machine here, the little connector. We must remember to connect that connector up. Have I got it the right way? I have now. There we are. That's the little connection for the safety interlocks. We mustn't forget those. The machine won't start without it. So a frequently asked question again is, how does this go together? So you'll see various rings, half rings, chutes and what have you that come with it, and this bracket separate. So just a brief explanation. Ring of bolts around the outside. The lock pin here goes on obviously where the outcrop is, this way round on the top. Now what you must remember is that the underside here, there's a flange that is part of the machine with a series of indents around it. You'll see that straight away. The half rings go on the underside, one either side, to make up a full pair. Then you'll see a solid ring which sits on the top, and then finally we put the hopper on and a set of bolts. So these bolts have nylock nuts. When you do these bolts up, don't do them up too tightly or you won't be able to turn the angle of the outlet chute. It's also a good idea when you're assembling it, you can put a little bit of grease on all the faces between them, and that just helps make it more slick and easier to turn once you've assembled it. Obviously keep an eye on these nuts, they are nylock. You can tighten them down to a point where they just nip and maybe back a quarter of a turn, just to give it that little bit of play that allows you to be able to adjust and rotate the chute. So there is another safety feature. We need to make sure that the guarding, let's call it, is closed or the engine won't start. So the main chute here, it is able to be opened. You undo these two bolts and this chute will open out and hinge out should you get a blockage or what have you. There is an interlock switch here. If this chute isn't locked in the closed position with the bolts tight, the machine won't start again. It's a critical safety feature. So okay, that's a bit of the FAQs, or frequently asked questions, based on feedback from you customers. We value your opinion, and if there's anything we can help with, we certainly will. I've been Adrian, and thank you for watching.